Today we are speaking to Dr. Ruth Speidel, Professor of Psychology at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, and the Managing Director of the Center for Child Development, Mental Health and Policy. We're also speaking to Pei-Yu Chang, who is based in Münster, Germany, originally from Taipei, Taiwan. She is an illustrator, author, translator, and college lecturer in visual storytelling at MSD, the Münster School of Design. So Ruthie, what drew you to developmental psychology?
So ever since I can remember, I've always really loved learning about children and working with children. So in the summers, as when I was a teenager, I would teach swim lessons, and I was always really so fascinated by how those individual differences we see in children, right? So how different children are picking up different skills. So then, when I was moving into my undergraduate, I realized psychology and developmental psychology is a field that you can actually study. And I was also really interested in mathematics and statistics. So finding a way to kind of meld both of those interests was really exciting for me. So that was what really drew me to developmental psychology.
Thank you. And can you tell us a little bit more about your research focus?
Yeah, so my research focuses in those different factors that support well being long term in children. So, in particular, I focus in the development of emotion regulation, which refers to how children learn to understand emotions in themselves and others, and also how they come to be able to manage and control those emotions in different situations so that they can, achieve their goals. So, for example, a child who's able to continue working on a really tricky puzzle or continue working on a really challenging problem, that's an example, even when they're frustrated, right? That's an example of emotion regulation. So, my research focuses on what are those different factors at the environmental level or the family level, socialization practices that promote emotion regulation development. And in addition to that, my research has kind of grown also into this application-based approach. So looking at how can we take what we know from empirical research about how these factors develop and apply that to develop interventions or initiatives that really aim to support children's development of emotion regulation and to support their mental health.
Great, thank you. And I think that leads beautifully to Bei and the project she works on. Tell us about your artistic journey. What led you to this work?
Yeah, I will start with since I can remember again. Since I can remember, I was very excited and interested in art. And it was like when I was a little child, then I would like draw comics and like release them in the neighborhood so that all the kids have to read them. And actually it lasts the whole time. And because of the personal reason, I had to then take a regular study, which means German literature. But still, I would always like when there's a conference, I would say, "May I make the invitation? Can I design the T-shirts?" When I was 25, I went to Germany to continue my doctorate study for literature. And during that time, I was thinking about what I actually want to do. And also at the same time, something tragically actually happened that a very old friend of mine and also my professor, they died very suddenly in 2 months, one after the other. So that make me really to think about what I want to achieve in my life, and if there's like the end of a life and I'm sitting there, what I really want to do. So that's kind of the changing point that I said, okay, I have to reorganize my life again. At the end, I apply a study of illustration in Germany, and I start all over again. You can say that, and then I had a study focused on illustration and graphic design, and that's what I'm doing today. Yeah.
Thank you. It seems like you're drawing a lot of inspiration from life and the people around you.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
Yeah. Can you share what else inspires you or describe your style or medium?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point you mentioned. I think the people and also the road, I really enjoy observe them a lot, and So like that is actually the one thing that inspires me a lot, which also impact the way how I create my illustration. Such as my first work, the One Children book, is about refugee. And in that work, in the visual language, I would then go back to the historical archive to see what kind of actually what kind of architecture, what kind of like toys they had, and what kind of clothing they had. And that again, I try to combine with my illustration. I would use them, or like another book is a cooking book. And then I would just go to the downtown where I was living, and in my cookbook, in the illustration, there are a lot of collage, like just some paper bag from some fruit stand on the market that I would put into my illustration, also some noodle bag, things like that. I think those daily, real, authentic emotion that really inspires me a lot.
Thank you.